Outside a quiet restaurant, a man sat alone at a table for two. He wasn't waiting for anyone. He just wanted a moment of peace, a rare pause in a life that moved too fast. His name was Armin, a businessman known for his confidence, his sharp mind, and his unshakable control. But that night, his thoughts were distant. He was staring at two burgers placed in front of him, one untouched, one half-eaten. He had ordered two out of habit, maybe because he was used to never being alone. As he sat there lost in thought, a soft voice broke through the hum of the evening. "If you give me one of those burgers," the voice said, "I'll tell you a secret." Armin turned. Behind him stood a girl, thin, with dusty clothes and eyes too deep for her young face. There was something strange about her, a calm confidence, almost as if she knew something he didn't. Armin raised an eyebrow. "A secret?" he asked. She nodded seriously. "A secret worth more than that burger." Amused, he gestured to the chair across from him. "Sit." The girl hesitated, then sat down, folding her hands carefully as if she didn't belong there. Armin pushed one of the burgers toward her. "All right," he said. "Let's hear it." The girl took a small bite first, chewing slowly, as though savoring both the taste and the moment. Then she looked up. "Someone close to you," she whispered, "is planning to destroy you." Armin froze. For a moment, he thought he misheard her. "What did you say?" he asked, his tone soft but sharp. The girl's eyes didn't waver. "You heard me. Someone you trust, someone who stands beside you every day. They're building something behind your back, something that will leave you with nothing." A faint smile appeared on Armin's face. "Is this your idea of a joke?" The girl shook her head. "You can take it as you want, but when it happens, you'll remember I warned you." She stood up, wiped her hands on a napkin, and started walking away. Armin called after her, "Wait! Who are you talking about?" But she didn't turn. She just said, "You'll know soon enough." Then she disappeared into the crowd. That night, Armin couldn't rest. Her words circled in his mind. Like a curse, someone close to you is planning to destroy you. He had built his empire from the ground up, trusted only a few people, people he treated like family. But now, every familiar face looked like a mask hiding a secret. He poured himself a drink and sat by the window, watching the city lights blur through the glass. Maybe it was nonsense. The next morning, Armin arrived at his office earlier than usual. The building was silent except for the hum of the air conditioning. He stood near the large window of his top-floor office, the skyline stretching endlessly before him. His assistant, Rafik, entered with 2 cups of coffee. "Rough night, sir?" he asked casually. Armin forced a small smile. Something like that. Rafik had been with him for years, loyal, quiet, reliable. But now, even his smile felt different. The girl's voice echoed in Armin's head. "Someone close to you." He watched Rafik pour coffee, his movements calm and precise. Maybe it wasn't him, or maybe it was exactly him. Armin hated this feeling, the doubt creeping like a shadow he couldn't escape. Later that day, he met his business partner Nita, a woman who had helped him build everything from the start. She was confident, graceful, and clever. Too clever sometimes. "You look tired," she said. "Is everything okay?" "Just didn't sleep well," he replied. She smiled. "Then I'll handle the clients today. You can rest." He nodded, though his instincts told him something was shifting in the air. That evening, unable to let go of his unease, Armin drove back to the same restaurant. He sat at the same table, ordered the same meal, and waited. Hours passed. The crowd changed. The lights dimmed. But she never came. He was about to leave when the waiter approached. "Sir," the waiter said. "Looking for that girl again? The one from yesterday?" Armin turned sharply. "You know her?" The waiter nodded. "She comes here sometimes. Doesn't buy anything. Just hangs around near the old railway station." "The railway station?" Armin repeated. "Yes, sir. Near the back, where the shelter's broken." The next morning, Armin drove there himself. The old station was a graveyard of memories. Cracked walls, broken benches, graffiti that told 1,000 forgotten stories. He scanned the area and finally saw her sitting by a wall, sketching something on a torn piece of paper. She looked peaceful, as if the chaos of the world couldn't touch her. He approached slowly. "You remember me?" he asked. The girl looked up, startled for a second, then smiled faintly. "I told you we'd meet again." "You left me with half a secret," Armin said. "Now I want the rest." The girl's smile faded. "I didn't mean to scare you," she said softly, "but I saw something. The man who calls you sir every morning, he's not loyal." Armin's pulse quickened. "Rafik?" he asked. She nodded. "He's been meeting someone behind your back. A woman. She works with you, doesn't she? I think her name is Nita." Armin's breath caught in his throat. "That's impossible. Nita would—" The girl interrupted quietly. "That's what everyone says before the truth hits them." Armin stared at her, unsure whether to believe or walk away. "How do you know all this?" he asked. She hesitated, looking down. "Because I used to work for them, until I realized what they were planning." Silence hung between them, heavy and dangerous. "Why are you helping me?" he finally asked. "Because I once believed in them too," she said. "But when I saw what they do to people who trust them, I couldn't stay silent." Armin walked back to his car in silence. Everything she said could be a lie, but what if it wasn't? That night, he opened his laptop and began checking company records, security footage, and messages. What he found made his heart sink. Transactions moved through hidden accounts, a series of unauthorized files sent from Rafik's email, documents signed under Nita's name, but with small changes that redirected profits. It was all there. Proof. The next morning, he acted as if nothing had happened. He smiled, attended meetings, joked with Rafik. He even thanked Nita for her hard work. But deep inside, he was burning. He needed a plan, not just for revenge, but for justice. He couldn't go to the police without solid evidence. He couldn't confront them without risk. They were too careful. So, he began to play their game, quietly, strategically, step by step. He met the girl again, this time under the shade of a broken billboard. "You were right," he said. "They're both involved." She looked at him calmly. "Then you know what you have to do." "I don't want to destroy anyone," he replied. "I just want my life back." "Sometimes," she said, "to get back what's yours, you have to let something else go." Days passed. Armin began gathering more proof, emails, call records, meeting footage. Each piece fit together like a puzzle, revealing a darker truth. Rafik and Nita weren't just betraying him. They were selling company secrets to a rival, a man named Victor Hale, who had wanted Armin's empire for years. Now everything made sense. The sudden financial issues, the missing contracts, the cold smiles in meetings. It was all a setup. One night, Armin called the girl. "I have enough evidence," he said, "but I need them to reveal themselves publicly." She replied, "Then create the moment. Make them believe they've won. That's when they'll fall." And so the trap began. Nita came to him with excitement in her voice. "Armin, Victor Hale wants to meet. He's offering to merge his company with ours. It'll make us the biggest in the region." Armin acted surprised, but agreed. "Let's do it," he said. "Let's make history." Behind the smile, his plan unfolded. He rewrote the contract himself, adding a hidden clause that would reverse ownership rights back to him after signing. It was risky, but perfect. The day of the merger arrived. Cameras, reporters, investors, everyone was there. Nita looked like she'd already won. "Today, our future begins," she said proudly. Armin smiled faintly. "Yes, it does." The papers were signed. Flashbulbs exploded. Applause filled the room. But within seconds, the big screen behind them flickered, and everything stopped. A video began playing. Footage from Armin's hidden cameras, every secret meeting, every whispered deal. Rafik and Nita's voices echoed through the speakers, plotting against him. Gasps filled the room. Reporters turned their cameras toward them. Rafik stood, shouting, "This is fake!" Armin stood slowly, his tone calm but deadly. "No, Rafik, it's the truth you thought I'd never find." He looked at Nita, whose face had turned pale. "And according to the contract you just signed, everything you tried to steal belongs to me again." She grabbed the papers, frantically searching through the fine print. Her hands trembled. "No, this can't be." Armin looked her straight in the eye. "It's over." By evening, the story was everywhere. Businesswoman and assistant exposed in live betrayal scandal. Armin's name was cleared. His company saved, but he didn't feel victorious. He sat alone in his office as the city lights glowed outside, thinking about everything that happened. He had won, yes, but at the cost of losing faith in everything he once believed in. Later that night, his phone rang again. The same unknown number. It was her. "You did what you had to," she said softly. "But remember, the secret wasn't just about them." Armin frowned. "What do you mean?" "Check the folder I gave you," she said. "There's one last truth you haven't seen." The call ended. He opened the folder and found an old page tucked behind the documents. It was a company registration form from years ago, signed by his father, and beside it, another signature. The girl's. At the bottom was a handwritten note. "If my son ever loses his way, help him find the truth, no matter what it costs." Armin's heart stopped. The girl wasn't just a stranger. She was someone his father trusted, someone who had watched from the shadows all these years. He whispered, "You saved me, just like you promised him." The next day, he returned to the restaurant where it all began. The table was still there. He waited, and then he saw her walking toward him, smiling quietly. "You kept your promise," she said. "And you kept yours," he replied. She looked at the empty plate in front of him and smiled. "You gave me a burger, and I gave you the truth." They both laughed gently. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now you live," she said. "And remember, not every secret is meant to destroy. Some exist to save." As she walked away, disappearing into the evening crowd, Armin felt peace for the first time in years. He looked up at the fading sky and thought, betrayal doesn't always come from enemies. Sometimes it comes from those closest to us. But even betrayal has a purpose. It breaks what's false to reveal what's real. He smiled softly. "She asked for a burger and gave me back my life." The man froze for a moment. Her words hung in the air, heavy and aching. The soft evening breeze brushed past, but neither of them moved. The sound of distant traffic faded into silence. For the first time, the confident businessman, the man who had signed million-dollar deals without blinking, found himself speechless before a trembling young woman who held nothing but pain in her eyes. He tried to speak, but the words tangled somewhere between his throat and his heart. What do you mean?" he finally asked, his voice low, uncertain. The girl's gaze dropped to the burger in her hands. She hadn't taken a single bite. "You don't remember me, do you?" she whispered. He frowned, studying her face closely. Something about her seemed familiar. The sharpness of her eyes, the way her voice carried quiet strength. But memory is cruel. It hides what hurts. "Should I?" he said carefully.